Hello. Welcome to the ASC Colony live stream. What? Was that not a good enough intro?
No. It's like, what were we doing with the camera there?
Oh, meanings I'm in a different room. I'm trying to adjust this properly, so I was trying to make some adjustments. But
I actually like the sound and the lighting in here better. It's a crisper sound.
Of where I'm at?
Yeah, right now it's better.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm saying it's better.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that it's been bad before.
Anyway, before we start, I have two things to apologize for to the viewers out there. The first, I was not trying to be insensitive about a Manti and a MAGA hat last week. That whole situation is horrible, and I just wanted to come out in front and say was not trying to make light of the situation. Nobody said anything.
I was going to say, did we have complaints? Because
No, but it's just in my head, like that could have come across bad. The second thing is, I know the word is Conshelf. It was midnight where I was putting together the graphic last night, and I somehow forgot a letter in there. So, yes, that's all on me. I apologize. It looks bad, but it's done. What can you do?
And when I let you know about it, I was wondering if it was one of those things where I wasn't reading it right, and then I realized you had typed it two different ways in that same post. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I should let him know. But
yeah,
it happens. Typos happen.
They shouldn't happen is the problem.
Oh. See, I thought you were going to apologize to the viewers for my sweet mustache.
I mean, there is no apology that can be made for that. Look at that. Everybody just left because of it, in fact.
It's Fu Manchu, my friend.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It's a Fu Manchu kind of day. So
how's it going?
It's going good. Just had some enchiladas. So, I mean, you really can't have a bad night when you have some enchiladas for supper.
I'm eating candy hearts.
Candy hearts. Wow. Okay. Well, what a supper.
Well, I had it already, but yeah, spicy shirt.
Gotcha. How have you been this week since we've last broadcasted? Obviously, we've talked, but I mean, for the viewers, what's new in the world of Brendon?
For the viewers out there, it was 72 degrees here yesterday, so I mean, yeah, you can't complain too bad.
Yeah, I can, I will. South Dakota has not been above 20 the past week, so Brendon, I resent you for the weather that you have.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, so what do you have in store for us, buddy?
Well, first off, I put out a post today about trying to get people to come join our little group on Facebook about building
our movement.
Our movement, yes, and we've had multiple people. If you're watching, I will get to you and get you signed in. I just been busy and haven't had a chance to get to that, getting ready for tonight and everything like that. And there's also some people who have been commenting, and I will get to those all before I go to bed tonight. So everybody will be addressed. Just hold your horses.
Brendon is a very busy man.
Well, I mean,
you are. I mean, that's not.
I am, but yes,
that's not making stuff up.
Not an excuse. I was just trying to make sure that tonight looked and went well. So,
yeah. Not that we can give a lot of information. I mean, because is what I'm getting at. It's this week we actually had a good phone call with let's just say a dive shop, and got some information, some direction on what we're, got some feedback on what a business like that would think of, and what they're looking for. They pointed us in a lot of or some directions.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I mean, we're like I said, we've been making phone calls, trying to set up phone calls, and getting emails and all that sent out to talk with people. So hopefully, within the next few weeks, we'll have more.
I had a good Zoom call with somebody who knows of our project, but looking at it from a business standpoint, conveying that to the person who has no idea what we're doing. They had a lot of questions. They didn't understand what we're trying to do. And so we worked through, I have a really rough business plan wrote up, and we worked through that and making changes in that to make it much more approachable to the layman, I guess.
Right. Oh, and we had a comment here on YouTube. What Facebook thing? So we have a Facebook group set up for.
Let me drop that link in here. Go ahead and talk.
We'll drop the link in the chat so that you can get a hold of it. But is what we actually have is a group. So we have our Facebook page, obviously, that we post news about. We share oceanic articles and stuff. But the Facebook group is where we're gonna like have some people, get together. People that have different backgrounds, different skill sets. People that want to talk and try to help out with the project. It's like a volunteer thing. So. Yeah, if that's something that tickles your fancy, go ahead and click on that link, and we'll get you involved.
Yeah, it's more. We don't like to use the word think tank because we tried that last year, and but it is informal. It's we're going to have different subjects we talk about, different areas we break off, and and I've already posted a couple things in there, but basically, I have a vision and a direction for where I want to see this go, but I don't have all the answers. And so it's having one of those second set, third set, fourth set of eyes on this, hey, this works, this doesn't work, this is maybe a better way. And it's all putting our brains together to get this pushed through, besides just Adam and me. So
yeah, it's one thing that we've constantly said from the very beginning is it's going to take more than us, whether it's financially, skill set, just whatever it is, we're going to need more than just Brendon and I to do it. I mean, if it comes down to just me and Brendon do it, it's going to take a while to do. I mean, we're only two handsome men, and it needs to be more than us. So.
I think your scale level of handsome definitely dropped with the new stash. Just let me say it.
I'm thinking after this, I'm probably going to, get rid of the Fu Manchu part and just go with a regular. But whatever. We'll see. We'll see how everything works out. I'm just
back to what we were talking about because nobody cares about your mustache.
Can we make a good segue between mustaches and Conshelf?
I mustache you this question, but no, yeah, we'll get to we'll address that a little bit more at the end.
The mustache?
Here.
Is that what we're going to address more?
No.
Oh,
there's a link again for you. No, when we start talking about Patreon and all that kind of stuff at the end of the episode, and how you can help out, the multiple ways you can help out after. But we've been talking about doing a more themed episode. So I spent some time, and we're going to talk about Cousteau's. Ooh, check this out. We fancy the Conshelf program.
Oh, is this a PowerPoint?
Oh, I got a PowerPoint for this. But no. But we do. And when I was doing research on this, I thought I knew most of the stuff about Conshelf. But there's a couple things I picked up that I didn't know I thought were pretty interesting, which we'll talk about as well as we go through here. But, as I mess up. Ooh, hey, look at that poking over there. Anyway. So everybody can chime in if the information that they may have that I haven't found on here, questions along those lines, and I'll try to answer them best as possible. But we'll see that Cousteau, his whole thing when he started this back in the early 60s, was that he was very much a man ahead of the time, or his visionary, because he saw that there would eventually be almost like two different the ocean. That's nice. You want to take care of that chat there? Anyway, that there was two different, that there would be almost like it was a subset, an undersea settlements that would be their own almost culture, and they would declare independence from the land. And he figured this would all happen by the year 2000. Obviously, that did not come to pass, but he foresaw people who would be born, lived, died, everything completely under the water. And that was kind of his whole thing. And that when he started the Conshelf program, it was supposed to be a multi, like 5-station thing that would eventually go deeper and deeper and deeper until it got down to 1,000-foot habitats that people would be staying in. The thing I didn't know is that it was almost purely funded by a French petrochemical industry, because they saw how drilling and mining underwater was a viable future. So they're saying, hey, we'll get behind Cousteau here. We'll help him fund these things, and we'll build these habitats. And so that's how the 3 different Conshelf programs that came out of it came from it. But what happened was that as he went more and more into it, I think starting with 2, he saw that, hey, the ocean conservation is more where my passion is, and the habitat,
love you,
and colonization and the habitation of the underwater world was no longer his focus. So that's kind of the change that came about, and we'll go into more as we go dive through this. But that's where we're at with all that.
Yeah, and that's just to chime in a little before you keep going. That's one of our, I guess, selling points that we try to get across too, is that, like you were mentioning, that they kind of foresaw, seeing this being a kind of a hub, or like a habitat that can be utilized for like a workstation in a sense too, or having a place to stay while they do work or be amongst that field of work, and it's something that can continue today, whether it's like a station used for conservation research, whether it's a place you use for mining of sorts. Because I mean, that's one thing that people talk about, is that there's a continued need for certain mining in the water too. So whatever it is, I mean, we can help aid that need, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll continue, I guess. Then we'll talk about Conshelf 1 first. It was developed and built in 1962. So what was that? 59 years ago.
Yep.
Crazy. Anyway, it was set at 30 foot, so like 1 atmosphere for 30 days. It wasn't huge or anything. It was a 16-foot long cylinder, 8 foot in diameter. I got some pictures here. Kind of what they were envisioning from, it would look like as far as that goes. There wasn't too many pictures I could find on it. We have to look up it there, and then inside of it. So it wasn't spacious by any means. However, it was recognized as the very first underwater habitat. 2 guys stayed there for a whole entire week. Basically, the whole thing was to test and to look at the mental capabilities and psychological and the physical, what would happen with people staying underwater. Mm-hmm. Because it all went well and there was no problems, it was deemed a success, and they approved a second one. The cool thing about it was that the Calypso, which was Cousteau's main ship, pumped down TV, radio, electricity, water, everything to it. So they had pretty much everything that you would normally need. So it's actually a pretty lush stay for these guys. And so like I say, it was a really short one, not much really about that one. Conshelf 2, however, there's a lot more information on, and that's just because one of the things with Conshelf 2 is that they filmed a documentary called The World Without Sun, which is, anybody that's in the diving realm is very familiar with this. So it was filmed, and because of the filming of that, the rise in the ocean conservation and recreational scuba diving was attributed to the film. That being said, it came out in 1963. It was it's 3 parts. So it was, as you can see from the drawing here, there was what they called the Starfish Home, which is the main habitat. They had a garage where they had this mini sub, and they had a deeper part that went down even further. So the Starfish and the garage were both at about 1 atmosphere, around 33 feet. But then the deeper habitat was all the way down at 100 foot. There's a team stayed in it for 30 days, which is at that point in time is a ridiculous amount of time to be staying underwater unless you're in a submarine or something. And 2 of the guys actually went down to the deeper habitat and stayed there for a week down there. You can see there's, before it was put in the water, there's the big yellow round thing at the top left is the submarine garage, and then the other one's the Starfish where the people stayed in. Just like the first one that they had all their amenities pumped down to them from 2 different supply ships this time. The crazy thing is that you see guys smoking there underwater. I mean, that's just so crazy, but they're breathing a helium mix to prevent, the nitrogen narcosis and stuff along those lines.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Sean.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be on there. It's on our YouTube channel. You can rewatch it all. We'll put this in a podcast as well. So appreciate you, man. So yeah. What else do we got here? Let's first push to go. There's a really cool picture of them outside. Hey Marty, how's it going? Here's some pictures with break cutaways of actually what it looked like and how spacious they were inside. And I will note back to this later in the episode tonight, but it was cool. You can see there's like a moon pool entrance on there in the far back side that you can come up into. It had bedrooms. Everything was compartmentalized, which, even to this day, you look at Aquarius, it's one big tube. Jules kind of is compartmentalized, but even then still not. So it was really, a cool design even before its time. I think a lot of that was because it was so shallow still. They didn't have to worry that much about the structural capabilities and stuff along those lines of it too. Sorry, I got candy heart stuck in my throat. Anyway, here's more pictures from the inside. The sub, how the submarine thing looked. So you could get out of it and actually work on it. There's a deeper part, and there's the actual look of the sub.
So you lay down in that submarine?
Do what?
Go back one picture.
Yeah, you lay down it.
Oh, weird.
And actually, not completely off subject, but the very first.
Yeah, we just mentioned that, and that.
Yeah, we're just talking about how that was really what made the Conshelf 2 really stand out and really helped move Cousteau away from the underwater habitats and more towards conservation. So I think filming that video of the documentary. But yeah, the Graham Hawks, he's got his submarines. Anyway, his first one he laid down in too. So that's a really cool picture I just threw in there too. And then we get on Conshelf 3. Conshelf 3, right after again in 1963. I'm sorry, no. In 65. It took a couple of years for that one to come around. The submarine. Yeah, I know that was initially his plan was to put one at 1,000 foot, and it never did happen. So that would make sense. I did not know that, but based on those designs, I'm not surprised. Because then with Conshelf 3, they went even deeper. They went down to 330 feet. But with Conshelf 3, they obviously structural concerns was there, and that's why it's a big giant sphere, because the sphere is the best form to displace that pressure. It was 2 stories tall. They spent 3 weeks down there. They actually because the whole thing was being funded by that petrol company, they put a mock-up oil rig down there and ran tests on how that would play out as well. So they were definitely working towards that goal there. You see a cool cutaway of it with the rig there in the background. How
deep was this one?
330 foot.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a cool little view of it. Anyway, that was all the Conshelfs that ever came around. Even though there's more planned. And, they talked about, as I said, there's like 5 different ones. And you can see some pictures out there of some of the stuff they had envisioned coming about. There's basically a bigger saucer or a starfish home with more habitats and garages, and looks like almost like an elevator system to bring people down to it. So they had some pretty audacious goals to go further, but Cousteau's passions changed and it never came around. But it's neat to think about if this was happening 50, 60 years ago, had he continued on with that company, would we have had habitats like this, and where would we be today? Yeah, it's just really cool. And it was, except aside from Tektite, the Conshelfs and Tektite are my two favorite underwater habitats that have been developed out there. I just think they're the coolest looking ones. But yeah. But then I said, what's the future look like? And then Fabien Cousteau showed up last year and started talking about Proteus. And even though this isn't Conshelf, it's still in the same vein, because if you look at Proteus, it takes a lot of the same earmarks from the Conshelf too, because you've got all those modular bedrooms and stuff like those coming off of it. It's got a garage, which is the moon right there that the submarine can come up in. So basically, he took what his grandfather was working on, polished it up, and replaced it. Yes, even though Sea Lab 2021 is good too, but
yes,
but yes, it does. Because it was all around that same vein though too. So Sea Lab 2020, I don't know exactly when it came out, but it wasn't. But it was all in that era. And so then you look at Proteus here too. If it gets built, it will definitely be in the vein of the whole Conshelf program, and very much of a nod to his grandfather's work there too, which I think is cool. Even though I'm skeptical on the thing getting built, it's cool that he did take, subconsciously or not, earmarks from what Jacques who had been working on too. So yeah, that's I'll have some, we'll throw some links out there, because I'm going to put this in a podcast format so people can go back to and listen as well, and on the YouTube video as well. We'll have a bunch of links in here to the sources where I got a bunch of this information from. You guys can do your own research or whatever. And also there's a cool video I found while doing this that we'll put it out there as well. But yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time talking about Conshelf while, discussion and conversation here about it. But
well, it was the subject of today's live stream, so I mean,
it was. Are you taking a nap there, or what are you doing over there, buddy?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to reach something on the floor and I can't get it. And I didn't want to just up and do it, but whatever. It's fine.
So anyway, that's that. But yeah. So I think that we can, like anything, you look at history of anything, you learn from history, and the same way, looking back at what Cousteau was doing. And one of my things, I think that, the underwater habitats, at least, will definitely be, the growth will come from the business side of things, and won't necessarily be from the personal side of things. The recreational divers and the vacationers and stuff like that will definitely help it. But I think the mass influx of money will probably come from businesses and stuff along those lines. And Cousteau obviously saw that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I think I've only seen pictures of Conshelf 2, so it's kind of cool seeing the pictures of the other ones. And like I said, it would have been cool to see him continue doing that with his life, and but at the same time, I mean, that's where we come in. We're going to continue this, and hopefully his grandson continues it too.
Yeah, it's a big ocean out there.
Big ocean. Lots of opportunities, lots of different purposes for what we could do. So,
you have something else to say?
No, I didn't have anything else.
Okay, but yeah, and that's definitely where everybody comes in. I'm not trying to use this to sell helping us out here, but it is, once again, we are dedicated to this cause. And there's other people out there too. It's not hard to find people that are like-minded on this. It's just finding people that have designs, vision, and a path. And we think we have that. I feel we have that. I mean, I'm putting my money into the fact that we have that. So I'm pretty confident on that. And so that's why if people want to help us out, if they want to come along, there's multiple ways you can do that. There's always, one thing, our website, everything's linked there that you need to know. But there's always Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, we do have 3 Patreon members that we always like to thank.
Hey, we should have had that going throughout the thing. We
should
had to
have.
turn that on. That's my bad. I'm
that's
supposed
fine.
to be the producer. I'm supposed to do this. I'm sorry.
It's fine. But anyway, these guys, early adopters into the vision. We also got Matthew. We probably need to throw him on there. He's been, he's helped us out with some PayPal one-time contributions, which is great too. That's another way to do it. Another way, the merch store. Go buy you some merch. There's a 3 financial ways that you can help Atlantic Sea Colony. Alternately, sharing our stuff, getting the word out there, joining us on our private group to help us get this thing rolling. Those are all ways that everybody can come together, help us out, and make this bad boy.
Yeah, right there we have. Marty just said he's like, hey, if I had the extra money, I'd help. but here's the deal. Like you just said, what you can do is, spread the word about what we're doing. Share posts on our social media.
And Marty's one of the people that's in our group, in our private group.
Yep.
So you are helping.
All about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that stuff's extremely valuable to us too, because someone, let's say like Marty here, who is interested in this kind of stuff, $20 says that he probably has a few friends that are relatively interested in some of this stuff too. So, if he, spreads the word to his friends, family, and whatever, then they'll probably jump on, and then they'll probably want to be like, hey, what are you guys up to? Blah, blah. And maybe they can help, maybe they can't. Either way, it helps us get our, get our name out there, and just, eventually we're going to catch the eyes of we're just going to keep building connections, and that's what's going to help the most.
Yeah, it already has. I mean, like I said, just this lure alone. I mean, the comments, the posts, the interactions, it's constantly growing. We stopped boosting stuff on Facebook months ago, but yeah, it hasn't really done any damage to this, and people are still very much involved. People are still doing that. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, Marty. You gonna interpret that, Brendon? USC GAUX. USC GAUX.
Is it United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Officers?
Ooh.
Am I right?
That sounds right. Not that I know what I'm talking about.
I'm taking a guess here. But we do. We want to thank everybody that is helping us out. Edward Haas, Wiley Pays, Brian Acosta for our. Yep. Yeah.
I don't think he meant to say sucks, but
maybe those guys for a Patreon, Matthew for PayPal, Marty, and the other people who have been joining our group. I don't have a list of names yet on that because we've got several that have been requesting that I haven't got to yet to look at. Because once again, we're not just letting anybody in. You have to have a skill set that's going to help us and be. Yes, we know what you meant, Marty. So yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. But anyway, does anybody else have anything else they'd like to throw in there and add tonight?
Yeah. Anybody want to talk about anything?
You got any questions?
One thing I would like to do is get work on trying to get some guests to join us on these live streams, like some people that like we've had guests on our podcast stuff before. It'd be cool to be able to like time it up to where they join us on this, just to kick back and talk shop and kick the tires. Is that what people say still?
Sure.
Old people stuff.
Whatever.
Because you're an old person.
Yeah, I'm an old person.
Otherwise, what do you think we should? You got an idea for next week?
No, I wanted to judge this one, how this went before we started going anything more like that. Oh, well, I'm only 10 years behind you, so.
And I'm only 12 years behind you.
Yeah,
Soon to
so,
be 11 in a month.
fortunately, I look younger than you do. But anyway,
It's questionable.
but no, sorry. Back to the point. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm going to be reaching out to somebody with Aquarius, because I definitely agree that I think, especially, I've reached out to Jules, but they're pretty much shut down for 2021 as far as the habitat goes. So yeah, I was definitely going to try to get a hold of somebody there with Aquarius, and maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
Glenn just asked any idea where the first habitat. That's kind of one of our first goals.
And I think, Glenn, you actually have submitted an application to get into the group. So, you know us. We know you. We'll let you in. But no, yeah, we're going to be talking about that in there. Part of the goals we talked about, I think, a week or two ago, was we want to be ready by the end of this year to do something, to have everything in line to start building in 2022.
Yeah, because like I said, I think this is going to be our first step. One of the many first steps is if we can secure a location, that'll help. That takes the step out of the way, because we could build a thing, but if we don't have a designated place of putting it, it's all for naught. So that's been something Brendon and I have been actually very aggressive about working on the past couple weeks. So hopefully we'll get some answers on that pretty soon, and hopefully we can get it to the point where we can actually confirm something. But that's my first goal, is to be able to get some commitment from somebody that would be willing to let us use their land, their property, their shores, whatever, to place one of these bad boys.
And if we don't have an answer by the end of the first quarter, you won't be seeing Adam anymore. So
that's right. I'll be fired. And I'll go back to my old job at NASA. So
yep, whatever. Yeah, Marty, that's a good one too. Yeah, we can definitely hit somebody up there as well.
What's NURP? What's NURP? NURP. Nautical underwater rabies prevention.
Or somebody else thought about was the Woods Hole Ocean. What are you talking about? Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute too.
Just now catching on to what I said.
Well, I was focused on talking about the next thing here. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was looking up what I was unfamiliar with NERP, but yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about that, but possibly.
Have we national okay? I guess that does make sense. National Underwater Research. I never even heard of this thing. How come we haven't looked into this before?
I don't know. Why haven't you looked into this before? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Throw you under the bus right here live. No. Like I say, and this right here, these are the things that the group is for this type of stuff here. That, because like I say, there's no way I'm going to know everything. I've read lots of stuff. I've researched lots of stuff, but it's not, I think that's probably where your background comes in too. Honestly, babe, that was when I first started. I looked at.
I thought you were talking to me for a second.
No, I'm sorry. Where I got certified was a quarry. I was like, hey, maybe they'd be interested. So yeah, man, you're right on line with our thinking here. That is definitely one, because I've always been. I just saw a ghost orb in your video there, Adam. I've been very focused on putting it out in the ocean, but we've had a bunch of internal conversations about inland in a lake or something along those lines too. So yeah, good point and good thought too.
Yeah, and what we are, I guess, our sticking point is, like, we don't have an issue with putting them into the lakes, but we'd want it to be one of one of those clean lakes where like you can have a good view, and it's not something that'll freeze over and because that would develop its own set of issues too. So like up here in South Dakota, we're probably not going to put one in any of our lakes anytime soon. Unless you want to drill a hole in the ice, then scuba dive down and then go into it. But I'm saying let's just eliminate that one, for a little bit.
So
sure would like to.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan for 2020. We were looking at several of them, and I went down to one in New Orleans at the beginning of the year last year. I'm just scoping it out. So absolutely, whether it's just show up and rub shoulders or eventually even having a booth or something along those lines. But yeah, so yes, definitely. So yeah, sorry, there's so many stuff coming in here. Trying to which ones I'm answering, which ones I'm not. But Glenn, yes, we are looking at that. That is very, very much so. And I would have no problem taking a trip over to Texas. Not that far from here.
Yeah. And, COVID kind of ruined a lot of things last year. And hopefully things are starting to, it seems like we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because you're seeing more like, say, like musicians that are starting to plan out their tours and stuff. So hopefully that means that more in-person conventions are going to start coming up, and that'll give opportunities for Brendon and I. Probably more so Brendon, because a lot of those conventions are usually a lot closer to him than they are me. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool to be able to do that. Plus, it's a great opportunity to meet with people in the business and people that might be interested.
And yeah, Babe, as far as talking about baby steps, do you pronounce your name Babe, or is it supposed to be something else?
Might just be a username too.
Well, yes, I'm sure it is, but anyway, yeah, totally about baby steps, and that's really we've been preaching that for a long time. Gotten some flack for moving slower and stuff like that by some other people out there. But yeah, so talking about DEMA, we looked into DEMA and it was expensive. It was well out of our budget, especially for this last year. So I was just going to go down to it, but then obviously it got kind of postponed and then virtual, and so that didn't happen. But yeah, I'd still love to visit DEMA and just rub shoulders and talk to people and stuff along those lines. All right, that's cool.
Perfect.
Babe, it is then.
That's going to get confusing whether you're talking to her or me, because when we're not on here, that's usually what you're calling me.
Yes. So, but yeah, no, DEMA definitely is a huge one. I'd love to get down there. I don't remember where was I at last year. It was one in New Orleans. And yeah, Glenn, we know you're passionate about it, want to help out, and we're always trying to find a way. Adam and me have had multiple conversations of how to get you involved, because we know where your heart's at and you really want to help us along with this thing, and we appreciate it. So you have been in our conversations. All good.
And in our hearts.
Yes. But yeah, man, we had a lot of good conversations here tonight, man.
Yeah.
I say, and for you, like, Babe, I'm not familiar. You're new. I'm not sure where you came from. Maybe you do follow us on Facebook and stuff like that, or any of our other socials, Insta, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. We post the most to, so you can follow us on any of those, or just shoot me an email, or shoot us an email, or something like that. We can definitely talk off here too, because you seem to be right in the right vein with the way we're thinking all this stuff too. So yeah. Appreciate the feedback and the ideas. What do you got, Adam? What do you got?
Nothing. I'm just kind of enjoying the conversation that we're having with the viewers that are coming in tonight. So we've had a good turnout for our little lonely live stream. So, but yeah, like I said, I feel like we would have been further along in a lot of things had COVID not hit. Or at least we probably would have built more connections quicker, maybe is a better way of saying that, because we had a couple in-person things we were going to do, and we were going to go speak at the International Space Development Conference last year, and then that got canceled, and we had a lot of things that we were planned out, but sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, babe, we'll be I think we should keep talking. The mixture of what Conshelf used. What's he saying?
Which mixture are you talking about? Oh, the helium mix? That would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to that, I mean, we're reverting quite a bit. You said it was like a helium mix. Wouldn't that be super dangerous for them to be smoking down there?
Hmm.
Helium's pretty flammable, right?
Yeah.
Like when helium.
It was the 60s. It was the 60s.
Yeah, that doesn't change whether or not it's flammable. If it's flammable now, I'm sure it was flammable in the 60s. Like, oh, helium used to not be flammable back in my day. Ugh. What are you smirking about?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, the goal is to try to keep it at most of these at 1 atmosphere. Even if it is deeper, it have to obviously be closed off at that point in time. But for the sake of deco and everything like else.
Yeah. Well, and then also from a tourism aspect, and like your average Joe, they're not gonna want to make their first experience to be like going down for 100 feet and all that stuff. So I mean, they'll probably keep it simple and be where there's still plenty of light to where they could see the marine life. And no, it takes more oxygen to let fire burn, but with the helium it was less. The flash point was way less than regular. Okay, see, you understand the chemical stuff. I don't know how fire works. No, I'm kidding.
Fire. Up where
Yeah.
they walk.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to, like, if we kept it at that 1 atmosphere level, we wouldn't have to worry about mixing gases then, right?
Right. Yeah, no mixed gases.
We just need an air pump just to push it in. We'll just have it floating.
Somebody in the room just the whole time. You should train a monkey.
Nah. I think PETA would have a problem with that.
That's fair enough. Anyway, I have exhausted. It's been a long day. I have exhausted my conversation topics for this evening, which
we did. We had
sounds
a fun
bad
night,
for live, but we
Well, typically we usually end at about a half hour, so I mean we're doing pretty good for going over our normal time.
Yeah,
but,
that's not. I got no problem sitting here and chilling and chatting for a while still too. Yeah, exactly. What they don't need to know, well, what they don't know won't hurt them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't talked to Dennis in a little bit, but yeah, him and me shoot emails. I've talked to him on the phone once or twice. So yeah,
he'd be a good one to see if we can ever get him to.
He was actually on the podcast. He was the last one. That's the last time I talked to him actually in person was when we had him on the podcast a couple of months ago. I mean, I emailed back and forth, I think, after that. But I was just thinking about him the other day, how I need to shoot him an email and see how he's doing. I know he's traveling or something like that right now, I think.
And he just got done writing a book too, didn't he?
Well, he's always writing a book.
He's always writing a book. Like it's an inconvenience.
Yeah. But no, I know Dennis is working on something too. So Dennis is always working on something.
So he's something. Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to get him scheduled to come on the live stream.
He won't put his video on though.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh,
Oh,
you put a
well.
picture of him up. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, he does. And that's why, after read his book, I hit him up and that's when we started our conversation there. We hear you, Marty. Yeah, we're finishing up here too. So appreciate you again chilling, hanging out with us, and we'll be in contact and we'll be talking in the group too. So
yeah, hopefully we that'll start being more active this week.
Yeah, Dennis is a cool guy. He's a nice guy.
I had fun talking to him when we had him on our podcast.
We do too. Thank you, Marty. Yeah, Glenn. We actually had Jack Clark on too. Yep, we've had Jack Clark on. We had him in the first season, wasn't it? Yeah. He was a really cool guy.
That's the one I keep thinking of that I'd love to get on this.
Yeah,
because he had like a lot of cool stories and all that I'd love to get him on.
We said we're going to redo one with him about C-Lab 2021 anyway.
Oh, yeah. Remind me that after we're done with this, I'll shoot him an email. I'm all about that. I think we should see if we can get him to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did we had quite a few guests between the first and second season. So, but yeah, Ted Clark was awesome and super nice guy, super funny. So, I mean,
yeah, we've reached out to a bunch of different people, and we've got a lot of good responses from people willing to hop on our podcast and stuff like that. But now that we moved to this purely video format for most things, some people don't like to be on the video. We've gotten that from a couple different people, but it is here.
Not everybody can pull off a sweet mustache like me.
Well,
it's like I don't have that kind of mustache. I don't want to be on camera. So I get it. I get it.
I'm not a huge fan of the live for the podcast platform because, I don't know why. Just I'm a stickler that way. Stop.
No.
Watch numbers of viewers drop now because of that nonsense.
No, I think they're going up actually. Yep. There's another one.
There's
another one. There's another one. People that are rewatching it don't know that.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot Ted Clark an email.
You shoot Ted Clark an email.
I'm going to shoot Ted Clark an email. Be like, hey, Tech, my man, you remember me? And he'll be like, no. I'll be like, well, okay, well, let me remind you.
Just show him the mustache.
We didn't do video, though, so he wouldn't know.
We had a lot of technical problems with him, too, so we need to redo his anyway.
Yeah. That's true.
That was rough. It was early on, too. I would still like to get Fabien on here at some point in time.
I've tried calling his office before, and I never got a return.
Nobody knows, or any of the Cousteaus.
How many other ones are there?
There's several other ones.
Are they all involved in the same thing though? Because what if there's like a Trevor Cousteau that he's just like, I just like to do accounting. Like he's like, I really don't want to go. So
there's Jean Michel. Then there's there's three younger generation and one that I know of that are active, or even a big one would be Sylvia Earle, but I highly doubt we're going to be able to get her on here.
I'll get her on here.
Okay. Because the podcast, and if anybody's listening to our podcast or not, the whole purpose is a podcast just discussing underwater exploration, habitation, and the technologies all involved with those things. So that's why we'll cut the Conshelf portion of this one and make it into the podcast for us. But yeah.
I've exhausted everything.
Well, and also talking about now, I get thinking, now that we've got this format, we can announce, hey, we're going to be having these people. What questions you want us to ask them?
Yeah.
And we can get some viewer-based comments and something like those beforehand so that we've got stuff to fill the conversation and go with too. Because I think that would be more fun too versus, we got things we want to talk about and stuff. But especially as we're readdressing some of these guys, if we could get Ted Clark and stuff on again, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to know from him? because he's got a plethora of knowledge and years and experience as well, and he could definitely talk for quite a while about that too.
I think the proper pronunciation is plethora.
Whatever, it's plethora. I heard it on a commercial one time. So, Glenn,
I've heard it both ways.
It's interesting you would ask that. I mean, the way we look at, well, I guess the question is, are we looking at the proof of concept or down the road? Because it's two different answers. The proof of concept, should we throw out what we're doing for the proof of concept, or should we hold on to it?
You can tell. I think you can tell them what we're going to use as far as like preventing it from rusting underwater.
Just not keeping it underwater very long.
Okay, so then me and you are on a completely different page then, because I thought we were still doing something with it.
We're going to use bed liner from a pickup truck. And,
yeah, we're gonna buy a lot of pickup trucks, take the bed liner out, and cover it.
No, honestly, for the proof of concept, honestly, we're looking at just retrofitting a shipping container. So it'll be metal. Yeah. So simplify it. Once again, it's not designed to be long term. It's a proof of concept to get it out there and get it in there. So we're honestly looking at, because once again, we're not going to be very deep, so pressure isn't a concern. So yeah, we're looking at a shipping container. Make it simple, make it cheap, make it doable.
It's all the rage nowadays, anyways.
Yeah, all the cool kids are doing it, so it's very buzz. It's the buzzwords are right there. And I know as soon as people hear that, they're like, ugh. And I did too, actually, for the first time, because this is actually a conversation Adam and me had a couple of years ago where we decided on this. So this has been a couple of years in the work, because I wasn't originally there. And then we talked about it. And as I share the vision for Atlantic Sea Calling more in depth, it'll make a whole lot more sense why the shipping container works, and down the road, why that it plays into the mission as well. And I think that it is a smart move. But that's looking long term. Yeah, honestly. So my brother-in-law, he wants me to go hit up like Rhino or one of those places and say, hey, here's what we're doing. Would you be willing to spray our shipping container with your bed liner? So, yeah.
Or Flex Seal.
Flex tape.
Flex Seal.
No, I was thinking about the Flex tape.
No, the Flex Seal is the stuff that they sprayed on that screen door and made a boat out of it.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, and this is one of my weak spots is doing this type of stuff. I'm not that. I'm an introvert, and so I'm an introvert, so it's hard for me to go out and find these type of things. But yes, maybe I should probably do that.
And I'm an extrovert.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, exactly. That's all. I was having a brainstorming meeting with a bunch of friends one night over dinner, and we were talking, and they were talking about all this other stuff about how to do it, and with sponsorships, and so there's a bunch of stuff we can do. Yep, it's leaking. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, we'll have to get our marketing person on it.
I haven't approved the hire of the marketing person yet, so we're still.
Well, our marketing person is already posting TikTok stuff for us. So.
Oh well, well, we need to have a conversation about that, because I don't think
it's all who you know. Anyway. All right, guys, we're right at an hour. Adam, anything else you want to add?
Nope. You want me to do the closing remarks?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, guys. You know the drill. You know how it goes. If you want to know how to get a hold of us, just go to www.atlanticseacolony.com. From there, you can find all of our social medias. I'm talking Facebook. I'm talking Instagram. I'm talking LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Did I say Twitter already?
I don't know if you did or not, but
Okay. Those plus more. So you can find us on there. By the way, I'm still looking for someone to help me out with the Reddit thing. Maybe that's what our marketing person can help us out with. Anyways, also, if you can and are willing, please hit up our Patreon. For $1 or $5 a month, you can help us keep raising money to help get us get this thing moving a little bit faster. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen someday, and we want to get it done sooner rather than later. But unfortunately, we live in a world where the almighty dollar kind of rules everything. So the more of those cash money we have, the more quickly we can get this going. And hey, once we get this prototype out there, we're gonna get people all over this. So then it's just like people are gonna be like, we want one, and then it's like we don't have to beg everybody else for their help. We'll have these like big time companies like coming at us all the time. So that's where we're at that. So if you can, Patreon. And if you're like, I don't want to sign up for a subscription necessarily, or I don't want to do a monthly thing, but like, hey, I got like $5 laying around, I got $10. Hit us up on our PayPal. That's www.paypal.me/Atlanta Sea Colony. And you can just do a one-time thing there, and it's always appreciated. Also, like Brendon said before, if you want some pretty cool gear, and Brendon, you should have been wearing your shirt tonight, but you went with Batman.
I almost did.
You went with Batman.
Next week.
Anyways, AtlantaSeaColony.com/merch. Got a pretty wide variety of products there, like a lot. So there's like hats, hoodies, bags, coffee mugs, water bottles, like just tons of stuff over there. So go check that out. And all of that, portion that comes back to us. So that helps out as well. So those are the 3 financial ways you can help us. Also, once again, before I go to the other ones, thank you to our patrons that we do have, and that's Brian Acosta, Wiley Pays, and Edward Haas. So thank you to them for being our current patrons. And as always, the thing that you guys can help out with without spending a dime is just spreading the word, helping us just share our social media, share our posts, talk to your friends and family about this, like see who has interest in in anything aquatic, anything oceanic related. People that are passionate about that will probably have a lot of interest in this. So, get them involved, send them over our way. Also, get involved in that Facebook group. You can find it in the chat that we put here. Also, if you just go to our Facebook page, you can find the link to it there as well. So yeah, that's kind of all of it. So I covered it, right?
You got it.
I think Ed hit everything pretty good. So we will be here next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That would be 8:30 Eastern Time, and what 6?
They can figure it out.
I don't want to try to complicate it, but anyways, the same time that you guys came on today, we'll be here, and we're going to work on getting some more entertainment, some guests, and all that involved. But until then, thank you guys for joining us. And sayonara.
Bye. Thank you.